are the very first team to advance to the division final. Also lines it up for free. It's good.
Never left.
What a move.
Ganda naman nun. Will drive. Tagle hits the layup. That's huge. That's huge for Tagle.
And then kay Jason Rickman. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Jason Rickman.
And well, the turnaround shot.
And Pangasinan is moving.
Sanchez will attack and will score. That should be 9-9.
Luka Curva launches the three. It's good. A new challenger has entered the chat.
Two teams that could change each other's lives tonight. For Coach Yong Garcia, they're one step closer to their ultimate goal this season. But for Coach Gerson Cabiltes, one game could change this series. Masantos Yalabi at Sikayon Amin, mga kaliga. And for the first time in MPBL history, the Robert B. Estrella Gym is home to the North Division Finals. Ang tanong, are we crowning champions tonight? Or is Pangasinan shaking this series a little bit more? This is Game 3 of your North Division Finals dito lang sa Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League.
Under 6 minutes to play. Taiwan with a getaway. Finds Oduba underneath. The spin. The one-hander. Yan ang hanap buhay natira ni Enzo Serrano. Capturing the North Division title, they are one game away from entering the national finals. Nice crossover by the muscle man. What a move! Napoles for three. Got it.
I told you, catch and shoot, ball swing, weak side, Jory Napoles.
We resume the action in the 2025 MPBL North Division Finals as the series shifts to Rosales, Pangasinan at maagang dumagsa ang mga tao dito. As early as 4:30 p.m. they have entered the Robert B. Estrella Memorial Gymnasium in what could be a career-defining moment for these gentlemen. Abra looking to advance while Pangasinan looking to stay alive in this series. We have a full-size crowd in our venue, 2,100 in attendance in anticipation of this matchup between these two titans. And for these two gentlemen, Dave Ildefonso has struggled in the series but has contributed in other ways. Vic Manuel and the rest of Pangasinan will try to stave off elimination. But for Abra, it's the North Division Championship at stake here, seeking greater glory. It's game number 3 between Pangasinan and Abra. Magandang gabi mga kaliga. Ken Pangilinan with Coach Mike Perez. And Coach Mike, itong Pangasinan trying to stave off elimination. What do you think they need to do here in order to stay alive?
Well, they have to start with a lot of energy. I felt that in Game 2, the starters really did a good job of starting really strong para dito sa heat waves. Second, they got to take quality shots. I felt that the shots that they took in game number 2 were a little bit hurried. They were too worried about the defense that was right in front of them. And lastly, be very disciplined when it comes to defense because it takes more than one guy on the roster of the Weavers to be able to contribute in a game, especially here in game number 3.
Batiin na din natin yung mga nanonood live on the official MPBL YouTube channel, on Solar Sports, and on pusop.com. And well, when we look at how things have shaken up in our playoff bracket, nakita natin, Abra still up 2-0 in this best of 5 series, while on the other side, Binyan making a statement last night.
Well, how about that comeback by Binyan in game number 2, really equalizing that series. And right now, I feel, in my personal opinion, that is a little bit unpredictable only because both teams have really come in prepared for that playoff series.
Could have easily been up 2-0
That's
itong
right.
Binyan. Mark Pingris redeeming himself from that point-blank miss to tie things up in game number 1. Pero yun ang naging tema in that South Division Finals. But here, etong Abra, grabe, really flawless in their second season under Coach Yong Garcia. And boy, 34-1 overall this season.
That really is the intent for this season para dito sa Abra Weavers, to be able to come up winning a lot of games and the hope of, hoisting that trophy at the end of the season.
The thing is, with Abra, Coach Mike, nakita natin, despite the fact that they're up 2-0 in this best of 5 series, medyo nahihirapan sila, kahit papano, despite the fact that certain guys have stepped up. Well, in game number 1, you saw Jason Brickman, and then he was scoreless in game number 2, but Dave Ildefonso to the rescue for the Weavers.
Really just different guys stepping up per game para dito sa Abra Weavers. Just shows you the depth of the roster. Well, Jason Brickman, really excellent shooting from the outside. You see his percentage, 55% on a 6 of 11. He was 3 out of 5 from 3 in that game. And he's very consistent with at least giving 5 assists per game. Samantala ito naman si Dave, he might be struggling shooting from the field. But boy, when it comes to boards, getting those rebounds, giving them another chance at the crack at the basket, he is definitely helping out.
And on the other side of the fence, yung backcourt nitong Pangasinan certainly needs to step up, especially Hesed Gabo and Aline Bunanadi. Unahin natin to si Hesed Gabo, who had a marvelous series against Nueva Ecija. Nag-spotter siya against San Juan and medyo nagtuloy-tuloy dito against Abra.
Well, Hesed has actually struggled past the first round after being huge, especially that game winner against Nueva Ecija. Struggled in the San Juan series, and then again, it just continues here. Para dito sa Abra Weavers series, the shooting really is the one that's more concerning. Para dito kay Hesed Gabot, the assist, no problems about that, but the shot making has been the one that's gone down for Hesed, especially in 3-point makes, because in those early series previous to this one, he was really good, especially in the Nueva Ecija game.
And let's see if he could rise to the occasion once again. Pero binanggit na rin natin, no, si Aline Bulanadi, naging rest back nila during the free agency and trade window para dito sa Pangasinan Heatwaves. And it's been a different type of playoffs for him compared to his stint with Basilan. Pero ito, medyo nahihirapan din sila. Nahirapan din siya rather with Pangasinan.
Well, what's more mind-boggling is yung 0 points niya, 0-4 field goals in game number 1. But boy, kung rest back ang sinasabi mo, talagang rumest back siya pagdating ng game number 2. 7 points, though 33% field goal shootings, pero patuloy pa rin yung pagtulong niya pagdating sa rebound and assist. And much as his firepower is a little bit silenced in game number 1, you expect Aline Bolinay to come out firing here in game number 3.
But one guy who has been really consistent para dito sa Pangasinan is the muscle man, Vic Manuel, who struggled in that series against San Juan, but closed things out with a bang in game number 3 at nagpatuloy dito in games number 1 and 2 on the road for Pangasinan.
The most consistent heat wave, in my opinion, making almost 50% of his shots in all of the playoff games. Had 18 in game number 1, had 13 in game number 2. But you look at that stat of 0 out of 4 from 3-point region. I felt that was something that Vic Manuel really needed to convert, because when he makes his threes, it helps spread out the offense, spread out the floor, and allows him to either get inside the paint or draw the defender so that he can draw it out to the other teammates who have better shots than him.
And Pangasinan reaching all the way here to the North Division Finals, pero hindi naging madali yung kanilang journey, having to go through the play-in but have arrived here. Let's listen in to what Coach Gerson has to say about their journey here.
It's good! Takes a shot! It's good! Hesed Gabo knocking out his former team here in Palayan City! Manuel Nakabueno and scores on the other end. Valencia to beat the shot! That's gonna count. Manuel the turnaround shot! What a win here on the road!
Mentioned the word dominance. Remember guys, we don't break, we don't fold, we don't give up. Let's protect our home and remember that winning is in our blood. Let's get this game.
One of the most passionate coaches in the league, no? Nakita naman natin ang pinagdaanan niya getting here. Nagsimula siya sa Nueva Ecija, sinunod niya ang San Juan, at ngayon kalaban niya ang pinakamalakas na team dito sa liga. But we also all know na ito ang paborito ng isang Gerson Cabiltes when his back is against the wall. Ano? Talaga namang ilalaban niya ang puso at isip niya, and he will never back down from a fight. At syempre, isa sa kasama niya sa pagtulong, sa pagsuporta sa team, no? Sa kanyang mga teammates, ang isa ring hindi nagbaback down sa isang laban on and off the court, si Mike Wico. Magandang gabi, Mike. Alam kong napakasakit sa'yo na wala ka sa court kasama ng mga kapatid mo na talagang lumaban para sa Pangasinan. Pero anong gusto mo sabihin sa kanila, kay Coach Gerson, sa management, at syempre sa lahat ng fans na nagtitiwala sa inyo dito sa loob ng court ngayong gabi?
Unang-una, syempre, yung series hindi pa tapos. And alam ko yung capability ng mga player namin. So, siguro, one game at a time muna. And sa mga Pangasinense, maraming salamat po sa pagsuporta sa Pangasinan Heatwaves. God bless.
Right? Maraming salamat sa suporta. Once again, Mike Wico. Now it's going to be Pangasinan versus Abra. Miguel Pere, take this away.
Good evening, MPBL fans, and welcome to the Robert B. Estrella Sr. Memorial Stadium. This is Game 3 of the Best of 5 of the North Finals of your 2025 Manny Pacquiao's MPBL Playoff Season 7. This is the Abra Solid North Rivers versus Pangasinan Heatwaves, with the Solid North Rivers hitting the series 2-0. Here are the starters, beginning with the Abra Solid North Weavers. Starting at guard, number 28, the Clay, Mike Ayonayon. At forward, number 24, John Oduba. Playing center, number 18, Gio Chu. At guard, number 15, Jason Brickman. And a small forward, number 1, the Sheriff from Urdaneta, Pangasinan, Dave Ildefonso. The head coach for the Abra Solid North Weavers is Young Garcia. Assistant coaches, Denok Miranda, Don Uro, and Edsel Valera. And now, mga kaliga, get on your feet, because it's time to meet the starting unit for your Pangasinan Heatwaves. Starting at forward, number 54, Bong Galanza. Also at forward, number 27, Zore Napoles. At guard, number 1, Mike Di Gregorio. Playing center, number 28, the Komodo Dragon, Michael Mabula. And at one guard, number 7, Hesen Cabo. The head coach for the Heatwaves is Gerson Cabiltes. Assistant coaches, Noy Catalan, Jun Marzan, Florian Pineda, Ariel Sison, Harold Nang, Joseph Gion, Dan Xavier, and June Medina.
Alright, starting unit first for the Abra Solid North Weavers, Jason Brickman and Mike Ayonayon in the backcourt. Up front, Gio Chu, John Oduba, and Dave Ildefonso. Para naman sa Pangasinan, Nesed Gabo, Mike Di Gregorio, Michael Mabulak, Bong Galanza, and Jore Napoles. And for Pangasinan, Coach Mike, still almost the same starting lineup from how they started, actually all the way since the play-in. So Coach Gerson sticking to this unit, pero nakikita natin, no, there's a nervous kind of energy inside the venue. So it's very imperative for the Heatwaves to have a strong start to this ballgame.
Indeed, you gotta match the energy of nitong Abra Weavers in the same way that the Weavers played with a lot of it in game numbers 1 and number 2. Now you gotta do the same when you're playing at home.
The tip going to the side of Abra. Nice play right off the bat. Jason Brickman setting up Dave Ildefonso.
Clearly, we talked about being disciplined defensively, much as we talked about the defense of Mike De Gregorio over Dave Ildefonso. That time around, he got caught on that backdoor cut by Dave Ildefonso off a beautiful feed by Jason Brickman.
Air ball on the free, galing kay Mike Di Gregorio. Nesed Gabo has mightily struggled in this series, and he's now tasked to guard Jason Brickman. John Oduba, pinigay muna kay Mike Ayonayon. The Hesse, the drive, off the glass and in.
Well, isa na yan sa kailangan bantayan nitong Heatwaves pagdating sa depensa. That middle lane of the floor, palaging open yan in most of the games that we've seen here in the playoffs, and that's something that you really have to have somebody in the middle of the paint to not allow those dribble penetrations.
Gabo, pass inside, Napoles in traffic, no good. Rebound controlled by John Oduba. Ayonayon, pull-up jumper off the heel, rebound controlled by Jory Napoles.
Now, here's the thing about yung Abra Weavers. They miss a shot but quickly bumabalik agad sa depensa. At yun ang kailangan disiplina rin para dito sa heat waves. Kung may takbo, takbuhan natin. Kung wala, iset up natin.
Napoles drives baseline. Shot down by Uduba. Shot clock winding down. Di Gregorio fires a free. It's good!
Remember, at the top of the coverage, Ken, we talked about quality of shots. Well, you see the shots right now. That, to me, is the very first good look that the Heat Waves took coming from Mike De Gregorio.
At yung gusto mong nangyari doon, he shot it with full confidence. 2 minutes gone by in the first quarter. Ayon na yun. Pasa palabas kay Uduba. And a foul against Jory Napoles.
Well, not really a good foul from Jory Napoles. You do understand na gusto niyang habulin lang yung tira na yun. Pero ito, yung drive down the middle, drew that secondary defender, that beautiful kick for Mike De Gregorio, who didn't matter and didn't even change his view on that shot, even with that defense of Mike Ion.
LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL. Sablay unang free throw ni John Uduba. But has really earned himself some starts here in these playoffs para dito sa Abra.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Now, matter of fact, kung papansinin mo lahat na nagiging basket ni John Uduba in game number 1 and game number 2 of this series, a lot of them is because he moves without the ball. And so nakikita siya ng mga guardian niyang magagaling katulad ni Jason Brickman, even Marvin Taiwan. And it's just an easy find for the guards once you have John Uduba, napakalapit, lalo na kung nasa loob siya ng paint.
So actually, he's given 3 shots here. Mintis yung una, pasok yung pangalawa. 2 out of 3 on that trip. Pangasinan has yet to have that really strong start compared to what they had in a couple of games in those series against Nueva Ecija and San Juan. Ascabo way off on that jumper. Ildefonso in front of him. Di Gregorio momentarily escapes off the glass and in, plus the foul.
Ibang klase rin talaga ang patience ni Dave Ildefonso. I understood, palagi yung nade-depensa nito ni Mike, but that explosive first step allowed him to get that advantage right again down the middle of the lane na pinag-uusapan natin kanina. Diyan nakashoot si Mike Ion, then there's another attack right through the gut from Dave Ildefonso.
Averaging 11 points per contest to go along with 12.5 rebounds in this series. Completes the 3-point play. 6 ang lamang ng Abra.
At saka nagiging challenge talaga kay Dave yung field goal shooting niya all throughout this playoffs. But he really has, made it up on the defensive end, especially on rebounding.
Mabulak, papasok sa loob. Challenging the defense of Gio Chu. Another rebound grab by Dave Ildefonso. Ayon. Kick out pass, Brickman, the fake. Draws closer, pull-up jumper is money. Strong start for the Abra Solid North Weavers.
And they have had their ways of trying to get paint touches. That time it was Mike Ion's turn again, but kicked it out to Jason Brickman. Sabi ni Jason, may bantay tayo. Pasok muna tayo, lapit tayo, konting dribble, a couple, and a good looping shot coming from Jason Brickman.
Coach Gerson, maagang humiling ng timeout. They're down by 8, 11-3. See the numbers here for Abra in the first 2 games of this series, Coach Mike.
Well, kung meron ka mapapansin dito sa stats ng Abra Weavers from game 1 and game number 2, lahat bumaba Bumaba yung kanilang points scored. It's a minus 11 in terms of scoring, 11 lesser rebounds. Come game number 2, they had 10 lesser points in the paints and 66 lesser fast breaks. And I'd like to attribute that to the energy brought about by the heat wave, especially in the start of the quarter. They really were just not able to sustain it entire game long in game number 2.
Galanza, sasalaksak. Mintis yung kanyang layup. Brickman tried to save it, but to the wrong guy. De Gregorio off to the races. Ball will stay with Pangasinan.
And when we talk about quality of shots, yan na yun, yung pinag-uusapan natin. I mean, you have the advantage running down the floor on a 2 versus 1. You've got 2 guys, Mike Mabulak and Mike De Gregorio on that end of the floor. Really couldn't get off a shot. Why? Because the defense has actually stayed home, defending the paint and manning where the ball is.
Gabo sa bandang kanan. Nakapasok lang ni Alin Bulanadi. As well as Vic Manuel. Manuel sa loob.
Ang pinaka-consistent na heat wave in this playoff. Where would the heat waves be if not for the performance of Vic Manuel? And he's definitely gonna need help from the other guys.
Ildefonso. Fouled hard by Mike Mabulak.
Now, there's one thing that Dave has changed, Ken, since game number 2. Ngayon talaga umaatake na straight to the cup.
Play of the game is brought to you by 747 Live. Dito ka sa legit, your game, your chance, your thrill. Only with 747 Live.
Jano Duba, nakaabang siya doon sa ibabaw nung post-up na yun ni Vic Manuel. Halos binibigay na yung baseline kasi alam niyang may tutulong sa likod. Parating si Jeyo Chu, napahirapan siyang tumira pero napakaaga nung release ni Vic Manuel. Enough to go past the defense of Jeyo Chu and bank it in.
Dave, supply, 2 free throw. Pagsanhan, rejected by John Oduba.
Boy, the defense talagang pinahihirapan itong heat waves kung paano sila i-score.
Ayon turns the ball over. Another chance, supposedly for the heat waves, but they cough it up as well. May hawak. Laban naman kay Vic Manuel off the basketball. Medyo nakikita mo, no, for Pangasinan, they're trying to push the pace every time they get turnovers. Kaya lang hindi sila na-convert so far.
Yeah, hindi ganun kadali. Lalo na if you go up against the Abra Weavers. This is the #1 defensive team, allowing only 67 points for their opponents in every game that they played. And if Mike Ayon is going to continue with this kind of shooting, it even makes you want to play both ends of the floor.
So that basket by Mike Ayon makes him part of the lead company here.
But Mike Ayon definitely has earned this moment for him. He's been so good for the Weavers. And just a bundle of energy and point production. He's been so good in game number 2. Had a huge run in the first quarter, in the first half. And then again, that continues here in game number 3.
1,000-point club. Kabilang na rin dyan si Mike Ayon. A former MPBL Finals MVP. And he would want to add another title. Having won with San Juan. #61st member of the MPBL's 1,000-point club. So si Mike Ayon. 8 puntos ang lamang pa rin ng Abra. Bulanadi. Mabulak up top.
Doon ka talaga magcha-challenge naman kung ikaw ang Weavers. The heat waves, gusto ng heat waves na nililipat si Vic Manuel galing sa isang side ng floor papunta sa kabila at doon nila siniset up yung kanilang post-up. If you remember yung mga game winners ni Vic Manuel, kadalasan doon sa kanang poste naka-set up. Ito, siniset up naman nila sa kaliwa because either side of the floor on the post area, Vic is very efficient.
Halin against 2 defenders. Nice backdoor cut from Harvey Pagsanhan to free himself open underneath.
Second cleanest shot attempt that they've made only because it's assisted. Yun ang nagpaganda doon. Yung 3-pointer ni Mike De Gregorio kanina galing sa pasa ni Mike Mabulak. And ito naman, yung basket na yun ni Harvey na nanggaling kay Alin Bolanat.
Defensive foul called on John Oduba. Assist of the game is powered by 747 Live. Dito ka sa Legit.
You draw 2 on the ball and talaga nga namang may malalibreng isa dyan. Halos 3 pa nga. Si Uduba sinubukang lumabas para kunin si Vic Manuel pero nasa baba na si Harvey Pangasinan para doon sa basket na yun.
Manuel, pasa kay Pagsanhan, titikada sa 3. It will pop out. Another rebound by Mike Ayonayon. Patino is in the ball game para sa Abra. Dave, catch and shoot. Air ball. Rebound controlled by Bulanadi. Alin onto the front court. Nice screen by Mabulak. Steps into a free. Tatalbog palabas. Jeo Chu running the floor. Missing point blank. And Bulanadi snares another board.
Sanggal is gonna run wide.
Sa poste Mabulak. Laban kay Ildefonso. Pasa palabas kay Manuel. Pupuko sa 3. Aalog ulit palabas.
Napakahalaga para kay Vic Manuel na makita pumasok yung 3 points na yun kasi mapipilitan ngayon si JHU na lumabas eh. Kaya nakita mo doon kahit na wala pang 3-point basket itong si Vic, talagang binantayan pa rin ni JHU kasi alam niya na may kamay sa labas itong si Vic Manuel.
That shot has been available all series long for Alfred Batino.
One of the more unsung heroes in my opinion here in the playoffs itong si Alfred Batino. The field goals really, it's 3 out of 12. Just 33% para dito sa 25% rather para dito sa Heat Waves. You can't have that if you go up against the Weavers.
That's actually been the story of the series, Coach Mike,
That's
because
right.
in game number 1, Pangasinan 28%, game number 2
31%.
Oo.
Yeah. And so they had almost the same number of attempts pero yung makes plus 7 yung field goal makes para dito sa Abra Weavers because they are more comfortable taking shots. This shot I like. I like that shot.
Bulanadi nails the free and they pull to within 3, 15-12.
Tsaka napakahalaga Ken na tumira kung may pagkakataon ng isang Alin Bulanadi para makatulong sa scoring para dito sa Heat Waves.
Ildefonso tumanggap at may foul na pinito laban kay Harvey Pagsanhan na Heat Waves are in penalty. 3-point shot is brought to you by Extreme, your one-stop shop appliances.
Tsaka kita mo dito yung jump stop na yun at yung tira na yan para kay Alin Bulanadi. Walang pag-aalinlangan. Talagang, kailangan ko na makakuha ng basket. This is game number 3. This is now or never. And so you gotta make your shots. Big-time players playing big-time games. So is Alin.
What you like about Dave Ildefonso in this series, Coach Mike, is despite the struggle shooting the basketball, he's finding other ways to contribute and help the cause of his team. And that was on full display in game number 2 where he had a double-double again.
Oo. Alam mo, sa series ng Caloocan, he was shooting roughly about 29-30% in field goals. Pero pag tinignan mo yung assist, ang average niya doon 5 assists per game sa Caloocan. Pero dito naman, pagdating dito sa series against the Heat Waves, almost 12-13 rebounds per game. And talk about helping out in different ways from a star like Dave Ildefonso.
Nasa loob na rin si Ian Melencio. 3 minutes remaining in the first period. Bulanadi. Serrano kakapasok din para sa Abra. Alin hit a 3 earlier.
Wow!
This time he drives! Goes airborne for the layup. Serrano answers with a 3-pointer.
Yan ang importante. Kung ikaw ang Abra Weavers, you're visiting the home of the Heat Waves, you gotta answer back. Or how about that move by Alin Bulanadi earlier? Really just showing us he is intentional to score this game number 3.
Collado, pinasa muna kay Melencio. Has Gonzalez in front of him. Pulls up. Left it short. Rebound controlled by Dave. Raven Gonzalez. He misses. Approaching the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Melencio. Vic Manuel for 3. Still no go.
That's another good look for Vic Manuel. But you love that it's got a good line. You know, the hope really for the Heat Waves is eventually papasok rin yan 3 points na yan para dito kay Vic Manuel.
Serrano, hanap ng papasahan. Pinuntahan si Gonzalez. That signature one-hander has been pretty much automatic.
Isa na yata yan sa pinakamahirap na pigilang Ira. I mean, it's tough. Ang taas na nung kamay, naka-floater ka pa. You see that big man in Raven Gonzalez with that soft push shot from that short corner.
Bulanadi finds a running Collado. And Ildefonso secures another board, his fourth.
Again, testament din sa depensa ng Weavers talaga. Kita mo, naiwan na yung bantay pero nag-aalinlangan ka pa rin. Kasi grabe ang depensa talaga sa loob ng paint. They have enough shot blockers to try and protect the rim. And interior passing has been a thing really right now for the Weavers.
What a pass from Taiwan. Feeding it inside to Raven Gonzalez.
8th assist of the game for the Weavers here in the first.
Malaking lamang ng Abra at 9 points. Turnover, Ildefonso. Pass to Serrano. In transition, lays it up and in. They extended to double figures at 11. This is a very important possession to close out the first quarter para sa Pangasinan. Manuel.
They're gonna need him to score.
Turnaround shot. It will not go in. Abra will milk the clock and go for the last shot.
See how they spread this floor. Leaving that right side for Encho Serrano and Batino to go on a two-man game.
Serrano rejecting the ball screen. Drives right. He misses. Still enough time for Bulanadi. Alin gets to his spot for free. He's fouled by Dave Ildefonso. Gusto mong nangyari doon, Bulanadi took his time. Sensed that there was still enough time to dribble it up. Fast Break the Game is brought to you by Extreme X Pop, personal karaoke speaker every day. Karaoke.
Pinag-uusapan natin na iba't ibang players para dito sa Heat Waves na nagko-contribute in different portions of the game. We're seeing that right now in this first quarter alone. It started out with Mike Ayon. Eventually, David Defonso started joining in. Raven Gonzalez did his thing. And then now it's Encho Serrano. All in one quarter.
Just 3.5 points yung average ni Alin Bulanadi in the series. You saw there Kong JB Bernos making the trip here to Rosales. A far cry from his numbers, no? When he was with Basilan. Pero you like how he's trying to mix things up because for the most part, he's been reduced to a jump shooter in the first 2 games of the series.
Agree. At saka yung mga games na nag-double digit siya, yun yung mga games na nananalo sila. Speaking of his scoring in the Nueva Ecija game number 3, and then that game against San Juan, that was pretty good for Alin Bulanadi.
Big stretch from Pangasinan to close out the quarter. Chopping the lead down back to single digits. This was a nice play right off the bat para dito sa Abra at open things up here.
Well, we talked about the Heat Waves needing to start off with a lot of energy, but then again, the execution of the Weavers have been on point only until Alin Bulanadi happened for the Heat Waves. Did the scoring improve? But you know, guys like Raven Gonzalez and Serrano doing their thing in certain parts of the first quarter.
And of quarter number 1, labang ang Abra over Pangasinan 25-17. Congratulations once again to the former San Juan Knight and now Abra Solid North Weaver Mike Ayon being part of the 1,000-point club in the MPBL. And what an achievement para dito kay Mike. Let's go courtside to Miss Miga Bisamis.
Congratulations, of course, to Mike Ayon. But of course, Abra also coming out strong immediately in this game. But despite this score, one of Coach Young Garcia's worries is that Coach Jerson Cabiltes loves moments like this. He thrives in situations like this. He knows he studies every game, and true enough, Pangasinan's defense was tighter in game 2. So the next quarters will still be crucial for Coach Young Garcia. The Weavers were asked to have better shot selections and improve their free throws this game, which they did this whole week. One week of just focusing on the free throw line, which Kong JB Bernos talaga, no, inutos talaga niya at nandun siya sa practice. Kung hindi ka ba naman talaga mapipilitan mag-improve na nanonood si Kong JB sa'yo. Dave himself admitted he took a dip in form in terms of his shooting as well. But for Dave and Coach Yong, no, importante, 2-0 na sila Ken, Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. Well, to your point, 12 out of 18 yung Abra in game number 1, 9 of 16 in game number 2. And also, with Coach Yong and Coach Jerson Cabiltes, ang dami na nilang pinagdaanan, no, na serye na nagtapat sila with Coach Yong for the majority of the time was an assistant coach for San Juan. And he knows the type of person Coach Jerson Cabiltes is. He will not back down from any challenge. Lalo ngayon, their backs against the wall in game number 3.
Gusto ko dun yung respetong binigay rin nito ni Coach Yong Garcia. It's been a tough path through the playoffs para dito kay Jerson Cabiltes, but Coach Jerson has made sure that his team is going to be up to it. And even here, amidst this powerhouse team of the Abra Weavers, they are actually doing their best to try and keep in step. Look, the games that they've lost, single digits lang eh. Nagiging difference ng mga losses na even you stretch it out to the elimination game just shows you the kind of scouting, the kind of preparation that the Heat Waves through the coaching of Coach Jerson Cabiltes has done this season for Pangasinan.
Whistle blown against Mike Di Gregorio. Coach Jerson Cabiltes certainly does not agree. He will use his challenge. And we'll find out in just a bit if he's right. At the 8-minute and 56 mark of the second quarter. We'll be right back for the result.
Upon review, the challenge was unsuccessful.
Unsuccessful challenge from Coach Jerson. What do you think, Coach Mike?
Well, he was all over, definitely, Marvin Taiwan. And it's been hindi ganun kadali na bantayan si Marvin Taiwan. Na kung titingnan mo yung fourth quarter ng game number 2, almost single coverage, walang ball screen. Break down sila ni Marvin Taiwan. His assists and his baskets have been very crucial in that end game for the Weavers.
That was a tough shot from Encho Serrano with Mike De Gregorio all over him. Coming off the bench, meron ng 7 puntos.
And consistent to how they've really performed. It's just yung palitan ng tao at palitan ng kung sino ang tutulong para dito sa Weavers. Talaga makikita mo yung lalim ng bench nitong Abra Weavers.
You could just sense in the eyes of the Weavers, Coach Mike, they're really going for the kill tonight. Kita mo yung intention nila, no, to really take it straight to the rack, having those point-blank shots.
Ito yung drive na yan para kay Encho Serrano. Nanghirap no. There was defense all over the place, and that really boils down to individual skill set. He is just crafty at getting points through contact. Itong si Encho Serrano.
Approaching the 8-minute mark of the second quarter. Nayon straight to the cup. Plays it up and in.
Ang naging problema sa depensa ng Heat Waves doon, yung baseline, libre, diretso para kay Mike Ayon. Walang tumulong para mag-switch or mag-recover doon sa drive ni Mike Ayon. Kaya naman napakadali ng basket na yon down the baseline side.
Galanza susugod.
That's one guy they really need to score, Ken.
Babasa 10 ang lamang ng Abra, 29-19. Batino, pinapantayan ni Mike Mabulak. Serrano working on Mike De Gregorio. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Three-pointer on its way, and it's gone from Encho Serrano.
Well, Encho really meaning business right now here in game number 3. He wants to end this series tonight and be that much closer to what might be the very first three-time champion here as a player in the MPBL. Kung magkakataon, ano?
Kung sakasakali, siya yung
Oo.
pinakauna.
That's right.
32-21 after that Hesed Gabo jumper. Patino, one-on-one against Mike Mabulak. Mabulak standing his ground, coming away with a steal. Tatakbo si Maguliano. He will challenge Raven Gonzalez, who was caught out of position. And he will be called with a foul.
Definitely, Coach Jerson Cabiltes loving that energy and that burst of speed and that explosion from Maguliano, because ang daming pagkakataon na itong si Maguliano makakascore at makakontribute para dito sa Pangasinan. And ang importante dyan, kahit may bantay, patuloy pa rin umaatake.
Free throws have been a problem too para dito sa Pangasinan. Although that's only their first miss tonight, this free throw is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas.
Kasi nung game number 2, 65% free throw shooting lang itong Pangasinan. They missed 7 free throws. And the margin of the game is roughly just 7 points. And so you can tell, ano kaya naging complexion kung na-basket lahat yun. That might have changed how that game was played, especially in the end game.
Serrano, another free. This time he will miss. Gabo in a running start. Hesed surveying the floor. Drops it at the last second and Bongalanta scores.
Now, I like that Hesed showed that he was really directly trying to get a layup attempt amidst those couple of defenders from the Weavers. But nung kumagat, binigay sa kakampi, easy basket for them.
And we have a timeout by the Abra Solid North Weavers as Pangasinan managing to cut the lead down to 8 points, 32-24 with 6 minutes and 22 seconds left in the second quarter.
Back in Pangasinan, Coach Jerson Cabiltes was definitely humbled by the series, their lowest scoring outputs this whole season, games 1 and 2, but they still take pride in the fact that they were number 3 in scoring in the regular season. So it's somewhere inside them, and he hopes that would come out tonight. He also talked about how they were able to limit Abra to 66 with an average of 89, hence better defense for the Heatwaves. But he said today, I didn't really use my drawing board in the dugout for the first time ever, because this is not about the X and the O's. This is about the fact that my boys work best when their backs are against the wall, even with a score like this. Sabi nga niya sa akin, nadaanan na namin lahat ng hirap dito sa playoffs, kaya alam namin na there is something inside us na pwedeng lumabas ngayon. Sabi din niya, pang 4 days daw ang kanyang dalang gamit. Ken, Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. And at this point, if you're Coach Jerson, you're trying everything in your power na makaisa lang. Yun lang naman yung goal nila at least for tonight, is to fight for survival and extend this to a game number 4 as we have a foul whistled against Abra. Check out this assist of the game powered by 747 Live. Dito ka sa legit. Second time they have executed this kind of play, Coach Mike.
Yeah, once again, yung defender that time around si Bongalanta getting beat by Mike Iron. Siya naman yung naging recipient nung pasa na yun off that backdoor cut on a beautiful alley-oop. Good basket though from Jory Napoles. Ito yung sinasabi ko, na yung quality of shot taking hindi ganun kadali para dito sa Heatwaves, lalo na on a half-court set kasi nandun yung depensa. Ang hirap i-beat ng depensa nitong Weavers, especially solo coverage.
And nabanggit na rin ni Mika, how Coach Jerson alluded to that they had their lowest output for the entire season, really. 58 in game number 1, 59 in game number 2. So mayroong conscious effort tonight na pasparamihin yung possession. So given how they're trying to shoot as early on the shot clock if there's a good shot available.
And I like how Mika on that report was really saying about Coach Gerson stating now, when my boys are their backs against the wall, they perform really well. And so that's the hope right now para dito kay Coach Gerson and the rest of the Heat Waves. And, tell you frankly, he's gotten every technique there is to try and pump up his team in those couple of elimination games here in the playoffs. And so far, in both series, Coach Gerson has delivered.
Mintis yung tira galing sa labas. And Mabulak securing the rebound. A foul whistle against Jason Brickman.
And Mabulak patuloy pa rin talaga ang nagiging consistent pagdating sa rebounding. Hindi ganun katangkad compared kila Raven, kila Jayo. Pero man, the way of how he boxes out yung mga big men na yan really shows you have to have a lot of activity on the rebounding end if you want to get that ball.
De Gregorio on the right side. Balik kay Hesed Gabo. Sa poste Mabulak. 9 seconds on their shot clock. Skip pass to Galanza for free. It will roll out and a rebound controlled by the Weavers. CJ Austria getting some minutes. Brickman. The show by Napoles. Napunta kay David Defonso. Balik kay Jason Brickman. Ayon. Drop pass. CJ Austria. The hand tie move for the basket.
And that to me is another guy that stays ready. CJ Austria, elimination game, memorable. He took on Vic Manuel. And right now, just being active on that offensive end.
Clear the Game is brought to you by 747 Live. Dito ka sa legit, your game, your chance, your thrill. Only with 747 Live.
Yung tulong sa depensa ang nawawala pagdating sa atake inside the paint para dito sa sa Heat Waves. Once na nakapasok na, hindi na alam kung paano yung rotation, kaya naiiwan yung isang Weavers na libre.
Dave, really aggressive. Nakita mo nung first 2 games, lalo nung game number 1, he's just trying to pick his spots. Ngayon, mas decisive siya sa mga gusto niyang gawin, Coach Mike.
Yes. If I recall correctly, halos lahat ng naging attempts ni Dave right now is purely inside the paint.
Lakay is in the building. Tubong Ordaneta, Pangasinan. Danny I.
And why not? Ang kinaiba lang dito dito siya nag-cheer ngayon para sa Weavers, no? Because of DI, his son, playing for them.
Hindi naman nalalayo yung Ordaneta dito no? So siguro
Yeah.
may time din silang dumaan muna sa kanyang hometown before
Most
coming
probably.
here, no?
I think so. You would have done, ganun ang gagawin mo kung ikaw naglalaro sa di ba? Bibisita ka rin sa where you grew up.
Encho Serrano,
Good
blocked
defense.
from behind. Can't secure the rebound though, so Abra still with a basketball. 3 seconds remaining on a shot clock. Long free, Serrano, air ball. And a shot clock violation whistled against Abra.
Well, in that situation, gusto ko yung naging depensa nitong Heat Waves. Vic Manuel and Jorey Napoles staying inside the paint and leaving that solo defender, if I recall correctly, was Alain Bolanadi against Encho Serrano, trusting that Alain is going to be able to cover for that right-hand drive by Encho Serrano. And so he just settled for that jumper outside.
Battle of tacticians, Coach Gerson and Coach Yong. 36-27, Pangasinan trailing by 9.
Good read. Nasa baba ka, ikaw si Jorey Napoles, mas malaki ka kaysa dito kay CJ Austria at yung angulo hindi ganun kagandahan na alam mong diretso papasok sa yung bola. Pasok ka sa loob ng paint, pakita mo yung kamay mo, which is exactly ginawa ni Vic Manuel. And now in comes Mark Yee.
Activated in game number 2. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin siya dito in game number 3 as Napoles missing the first free throw.
Ang laki ng naitulong niya ni Marquis dun sa second half, no?
Yeah.
Yung veteran leadership at saka yung hustle inside the paint.
Again, free throws will be key for Pangasinan. Napoles coming out empty on that trip. Encho Serrano, Dave Ildefonso, J.O. Chu, Jason Brickman, and Marquis on the floor for the Weavers. J.O. Chu, skip pass to Marquis. Gives it up to Dave Ildefonso. He attacks once more. pivots his way inside. No whistle. But was there a foul or was it a shot clock violation? It was a foul. Tama, may foul, no? Offensive foul.
Yeah, offensive foul. As that fake by Dave really got blocked, Gio tried to recover it. Pero sa ilalim, I think
Si Gio Chu.
si Gio Chu, right?
His parents making the trip here. Always supportive. no?
Oh, tsaka always very proud of Gio. I mean, so simula, nahirapan sa mga physicality ng game, but right now, he is holding his own against these heat waves.
Esed Gabo, Harvey Pagsanhan, Jory Napoles, Vic Manuel, and Alin Bunanadi. Ang 5 naman para sa Pangasinan. At the moment, the heat waves hindi makalapit. Still down by 9. Dave fouled by Vic.
Kung merong isang bagay na ginagawang maganda ng Pangasinan ngayon dito sa second quarter, yung pagdepensa ng mga perimeters nila. Now, unlike in the first quarter, 3-4 shots from the perimeter ang naibasket ng Abra Weavers. Right now, hindi nila inaalaw yun, kaya they're quick to do short closeouts o pagbantay kagad pag nandun sa perimeter. But this is one of those few times right now in the second quarter na nakabasket from the perimeter. Ito si Jason Brickman.
Made it look easy on that jumper. Gabo, the cut again, Pagsanhan. Scoring some points on the interior. Cuts it back down to 9.
And so far, that's how they've beaten the defense of the Weavers. You know, adding that weak side action. Kanina, si Harvey Pagsanhan ang gumawa nun earlier. And ngayon, patuloy pa rin niyang ginagawa para dito sa heat waves.
Mark Yee swishes in the 3. And Abra is now up by a dozen.
This is why it's so tough to put in a marquee. Coverage defensive-wise, nagkakaroon ka ng challenges.
Manuel finally hits a trifecta from the left wing.
Pawian lang ng mga veterano, Ken. Parehong veterano tumitikada sa tres ngayon.
Marquis tries another one. This time, it will bounce out. Bulanadi,
Good pull-up.
pabandang tira. Ildefonso the rebound, his 9th to go along with his 6 points.
That was a good pull-up by Alin Bolanadi. That was within his range. You know, got past that defense. Napalakas lang talaga yung tira niya.
Encho Serrano with 8 on the shot clock. Dave again puts it on the deck.
Yan ang point of emphasis I want to talk about defensively. As you see this 3 right here by Marquis after that pass by Jason Brickman. Yung lahat ng drive, as we see Big Manuel also returning the favor for the heat waves. Lahat ng drive ni Dave Ildefonso papunta. Alam mong papunta sa kaliwa, pero pag nandun na, ang hirap pa rin pigilan.
Brickman, Mintes, Manuel grabs the board. Pangasinan needs to score here. Vic Manuel on the right wing. Off the bounce, one-hander. Doesn't get the friendly roll. Marquis the rebound. And Abra really doing a good job holding Pangasinan to 1 shot. In fact, wala pang offensive rebound dito ang Pangasinan.
Correct.
Encho Serrano spinning his way inside for the bucket.
They really have allowed ang tinatawag na isang beses ka lang titira at pagkatapos nun wala na. Kasi kung may nakukuha ng rebound, yan ang naging philosophy nitong Abra Weavers on the defensive end.
Big Gregorio floats it up and in off the glass.
Shots like this are never easy, especially inside the paint. But Mike De Gregorio just continues to attack downhill in the hope of getting a basket inside.
But if you're Pangasinan, Coach Mike, you can't afford to exchange back baskets like this.
True.
And so far, hindi pa talaga sila makalapit eh. Manuel, sidestep. He puts it in. As Abra will sue for time, 31.8 seconds remaining.
Well, everything really started on the defensive end. Once you recover that, Hesed Gabo quick to acknowledge that Vic Manuel was on the other end. I love that Vic did not settle for that 3. Instead, attacked inside, looked at the clock. Sabi niya may pagkakataon pa kami ng isa pang possession on the won.
Back in Pangasinan, Vic Manuel posted a photo recently of him and Marky on the court and remembered how Kuya Mark was his first ever mentor in the PBA under Global Port. Grabe daw ang disiplina na natutunan niya every morning. Pagdating sa practice, aayain talaga si Mark ni Mark si Vic mag-shooting agad, kumain ng maayos, magdasal lahat. Pero si Mark naman also talked about how at a young age nakitaan na niya ng tibay ng loob at laki ng kamay. Etong si Muscle Man, at sinabi niyang malayo ang mararating. And look at them both still here in their best shapes, still effective as ever. Ken, Coach Mike.
Yeah. Talagang matindi pinagdaanan itong dalawang to, no? Mark Yee and Vic Manuel. And mind you, Coach Mike, the great story about these two guys is that pareho sila sa mga less heralded schools na masasabi natin, no? Not from the UAP, not from the NCAA, but they've carved out a role in the PBA and now here, still going strong here in the MPBL.
That really is patuloy na pursuit mo lang sa kung ano mga aspirations mo. And mind you, players nowadays might be wanna going up for possibly to big schools, but that doesn't stop you from working on your own and trying to better your craft para lang ma-achieve mo yung ina-aspire mo.
Abra clinging on to this 7-point lead, about a 7-second differential between shot and game clock. Ayon working on Mike Di Gregorio, screen by Ildefonso, the switch by Maguliano. Dave lost it. Huge stop by the Heat Waves.
Well, yung pasa kasi medyo behind kay Dave Ildefonso on that kick by Mike Ayon. And so you gotta forget about that now. You gotta get this stop. Meron kang 11 seconds para dumipensa kung ikaw ang Abra Weaver. Samantala kung ikaw naman ang Heat Waves, pagkakataon maibaba itong lamang na ito ng 7.
Yeah, yung 7 points. If they manage to score here, will make this a 2-possession ball game entering the half.
At saka importante ito kasi pagbalik natin sa third quarter, I think the first possession is gonna go Pangasinan's way. So this is a very important set for the Heat Waves.
So far, only 2 turnovers. Kaya lang, di talaga sila makascore. Bulanadi, line drive, no. Di Gregorio, still enough time. Puts it up, too strong. And that will end the first half, where Abra really threw in those haymakers. But Pangasinan still trying to stay alive. Encho Serrano only averaged 3.5 points in the first 2 games, exploding for 12 here in the first half.
And really just the comeback that we have been waiting for from Encho Serrano. This time he understands, picks his spots, creates for his own. Otherwise, he also moves without the ball on this fast break on a beautiful feed. And really just this kind of contribution from Encho, 12 at the break, is pretty big if you're Encho Serrano.
And at the half, it's Abra over Pangasinan, 43-36.
Yeah, without doubt. At yun naman ang nagugustuhan mo sa mga attitude ng mga upcoming stars like David Defonso. But this drive though, ibang klase, dire-diretso yun. Wala nakapigil.
Meron ka pala niyan, Bongga Lanza.
Split second lang ang diferensya nun. Ito yung magandang pagkakadrive. Jog step papunta sa kaliwa pero ang linis nung pagkaka-finish sa gitna.
And he was determined to finish. Si Bongga Lanza. Abra only up by 3 here. Ildefonso. Atake sa gitna. Dave Ildefonso.
Well, soon as naiwan si Mike De Gregorio, that's when the coverage changed a little bit and yung vision. Pero hindi naging madali yung pababa na yun ni Dave Ildefonso all because of the defense of Mike.
Under 6 minutes to play. Taiwan with a getaway. Finds Oduba underneath.
And on that drive, he really had his hand up. Very similar doon sa mga pinuntos ni John Oduba. Nag-aabang sa ilalim hanggang sa makita sa ng kanyang gwardya na libre siya, papasahan siya, ibabasket niya.
Taiwan. Three-pointer. Oh! That's a big one for Marvin Taiwan. As soon as he brought that ball down, you knew it was coming, Coach Mike.
Oh, you know it. Lalo na nung nag-go under yung depensa ni Ian Melencio. Well, they scouted, they didn't want to get beat, kaya nag-go under sila. Pero Marvin Taiwan, man, that release was so good.
Gets it to Vic Manuel. Nice crossover by the muscle man. What a move! 4 points para kay Vic Manuel, but a spectacular move.
Did I just see Vic Manuel do a cross and drop Oduba on the floor and finish? Wow! Oh, what a crossover.
Broke his ankles there, pero okay lang. No celebration. Nonchalant lang. Kaling kay muscle man.
Pero lahat gulat.
Seeking greater glory, but really for Pangasinan, it's fighting for survival. Game number 3 of the North Division Finals between the Weavers and the Heat Waves. Abra leading by 7 at the half, 43-36. Coach Mike, can you break down what happened here in the first 2 quarters? Because Abra certainly really tried to go for the kill here.
Yeah, and really it's just about getting good field goal percentage only because guys are moving a lot, and it really starts on the defensive end para dito sa Abra Weavers. The different guys, Ayon, Encho Serrano, Raven Gonzalez did his thing, David Defonso did his thing in certain portions of the first half. And maganda yung naging conversion nila. Samantalang ito ng mga Pangasinan, a little bit of a struggle. They shoot only 38%. But really, when you look at the rebounds, huge disparity right there. Plus 11 rebounds para dito sa Abra Weavers, to which yung inside points, good, no? Halos pantay lang sila nitong Abra, pero kasi ang Abra, ang dami ring perimeter mates and even the threes, mas marami silang nakuha doon in that situation. And I feel the guys that have actually helped out from the bench or even the fast breaks have been pretty big for the Abra Weavers. And this was what I was alluding to earlier. Ken, see those shots, ang daming mga blue dots outside of the paint pero hindi sa three, sa ilalim ng three-point area. That's the perimeter. Those are what we call non-paint twos na kung saan nahirapan rin talaga makarecover ang depensa ng Heatwaves kasi maganda yung pagkakapasa nitong mga Weavers.
Binanggit natin, Encho Serrano nag-struggle in both games number 1 and 2. And now with a dozen to lead the way for the Weavers off the bench. Mike Ayonayon with 8. And really multiple players contributing on the side of the Weavers. Samantala sa Pangasinan, again, the shooting remains an issue for them.
Yes, Vic Manuel, Alin Bulanadi, Mike De Gregorio, those are the only three guys that made those three dots in the three-point area. Everything else has been inside the paint. Wala sa perimeter. Kaya nakakatira pero nag-aalangan kasi nandun yung depensa. Ganun kabigat ang binibigay na challenge at resistance defensively nitong Abra Weavers against the challenge of Pangasinan.
Alin Bulanadi with 8 markers. Vic Manuel, 7. De Gregorio had 5 early in the first quarter. And Bongga Lanza, meron ding 4 na puntos. So missing there. Hazel Gabo, still, it's been quite a struggle for him ever since the Nueva Ecija series where he was magnificent. And now they will try to make some headway here as Abra to begin the third quarter, turning the ball over here.
Well, kung ikaw naman si Coach Gerson, at the half, you're down only 7. You've lost game 1 in what? I think 7 points also, and then another 7-point difference come game number 2. And right now at the half, you're only down 7. You like where you are. Kaya lang kailangan talagang mag-improve yung shot selection nila and so that it eventually results into better conversion sa kanilang mga pag-attempt sa basket.
They're trying to sort things out here. Coach Yong Garcia wants to pilot Abra to their very first national finals appearance. But Coach Gerson, just wants to live and fight for another day. He is 0-4 actually against Abra. Has yet to win against the Weavers. Matatandaan mo nung opening game nila, talo sila in Calasiao.
Yes.
And then the following year, traveled to Bangged, lost that elimination round matchup, and then the past 2 games, still in Bangged, natalo rin itong Abra, so 4 na sunod-sunod. Pero you all know, with Coach Gerson, nangyari din sa kanya yan against San Juan. 4 straight losses against the Knights dating back to 2023. But prevailing there, Hesed Gabo, much needed basket to begin things here in the third.
I'm actually a firm believer, Ken, that if Hesed Gabo knocks down his threes, ibang complexion ng laro ang binibigay ni Hesed Gabo. I actually talked to one of the coaches in the MPBL and that's exactly what he said, that if you go up against Hesed Gabo and he does well from 3, medyo challenge na bantayan siya kasi magaling pumasa at pumapasok pa yung press niya.
3-point shot is brought to you by Extreme, their one-stop shop appliances.
Hesed Gabo in that Nueva Ecija series has been so good of making his shots from the outside, pero nung pumasok na yung San Juan at itong Abra series, medyo pababa yung kanyang production sa pag-shoot sa 3.
Galanza, atake, getting past J.O.Chu. And this is the closest Pangasinan has been since he's been down by as many as 13 points.
We talked about starting the game with a lot of energy. Starting the break with a lot of energy are what the Heatwaves have done, but dousing that energy, itong si Jason Brickman, libre dun sa tres na yun.
The silencer, Jason Brickman. Balik sa limang lamang ng Weavers. Di Gregorio. Jice baseline. The pass to Galanza. Three-pointer is good!
Well, the Heatwave starting to believe that they can actually take on the Weavers. And yan ang importante para sa kanila. Because if you start doubting yourself, then everything that you do on the floor hindi nagiging maganda. Ito, drive papunta sa baseline. Nagpunta lahat papunta dun sa paint. Nakakalimutan nila sa kabila. Ando si Bong Galanza. Ganda ng pasa na yun. Galing kay Mike Di Gregorio.
This is a key quarter for Pangasinan. They've lost both the third periods in games number 1 and 2. Right now, they're down by just a single field goal. And a push. It's gonna go against Pangasinan.
Yeah, that's on Jory Napoles. Talaga nga naman ganun ang mangyayari. Ang laki ni Gio Chu, hindi naman ganun kadaling itulak yan. Kahit even if you box him out, you put him behind you, he still is, matangkad para sa'yo at may pagkakataon makuha niya pa rin yung bola.
By the way, points in the paint, such a huge barometer in this series. Right now, Pangasinan is +2. Ildefonso gets the friendly bounce.
Tsaka yung yung point in the paint na minimension mo, Ken, dyan yung gulat na gulat si Coach Gerson na ang laki nung lamang sa kanila nung game number 1.
Even in game number 2.
Yeah, agree. They were what? That was an 11-point difference, I think.
Di Gregorio, sablay yung kanyang tres. Rickman the rebound. Batino. Man, that shot has been pretty much on point para kay Ryan Batino.
Well, Batino has been the pressure release. Kung wala yung pasa sa loob, ipasa mo sa kanya near the elbow area, and twice already he sank it.
Galanza. Ball poke loose. Brickman, the heads-up play. Ildefonso will slam it home!
For a very long time, we have not seen that Selly from Dave Ildefonso. Might be the first dunk in a very long time para dito kay Dave.
Kala ko si Lakay mapapa-raise the roof din eh.
Napalingon ka rin, inabangan mo. Ayun naman ang original kasi.
Oh!
Man. Oh, man.
Jason Brickman with a free.
Well, we talked about the two players that have actually won the best player of the game in game number 1 and game number 2. Those two guys have combined in 2 successive plays. This time that defense goes under. Jason knocks it down and makes that 3 and does that again straight up, almost unchallenged para dito sa Weavers.
How about Dave Ildefonso, Coach Mike?
Well, nagsimula sa depensa, yun ang importante doon. And Dave on a leak out, there's not so much you can do. And eventually, he's gonna wait for that slam. And
Napakamot ulo.
yun nga inabangan natin, Mag-raise the roof.
Let's go courtside to Miss Mika Bisamis.
Maraming salamat Ken, Coach Mike. Kasama ko ngayon ang isa sa biggest fans ng Pangasinan Heatwave, si Brian Basto. Last season pa daw nung bago ang Pangasinan dito sa Liga. Big fan na siya. Brian, alam mo kahit na medyo lamang itong Abra dito sa larong ito, yung pakiramdam lang ba na first time nag-host ang Pangasinan ng Division Finals, lalo at hindi kayo pumasok sa semis last season. Anong pakiramdam?
Malaking difference yung last season eh. So masakit din sa Pangasinan yun. So ngayon pinaghihirapan nila. Sobrang todo sila sa practice. Nakikita ko kahit kanila HG, sobrang todo sila sa practice. Kaya maraming salamat sa mga taga Pangasinan sumusuporta sa Pangasinan Heatwaves.
Hindi ko na siguro kailangan tanungin kung sinong pinaka-idol mo sa Pangasinan Heatwaves. Nabanggit mo na si HG at nasa t-shirt mo. Talaga namang kitang-kita. Patingin nga yung jersey dala mo. Nako, talaga namang Gabo fan pala. Etong si Brian Basto. Maraming salamat, Brian, sa suporta mo sa MPBL.
Binabati ko lahat ng mga taga Villasis, mga taga San Fabian, bowlers, binabati ko lahat. Then maraming salamat sa mga taga Pangasinan sumusuporta.
Maraming salamat, Brian Basto. Kenneth Coach.
Sakto, Mika. Yung idol niya nakabuslo ng tres. And he has a chance for a 4-point play. Hesed Gabo.
And really on that step back from the three as he's tried to magkaroon ng separation dun sa depensa. Again, babalik tayo dun sa usapan natin kanina. Pag maganda ang performance ni Hesed Gabo pagdating sa tres, mas mahirap bantayan.
Pangilan na ba niya yan? Pangatlo, no?
Yep.
9 point, right? Tama, 9 points.
That's right.
Oh, but he misses the free throw though.
I think that's his second 3-point make for the game for Hesed Gabo. Third, that's right.
So 55-47. 8-point lead. Pagsanhan is defending Dave Ildefonso. DI met by Lervin Flores, who just checked in. Serrano maneuvering through traffic.
Kick ball.
Hesed Gabo committing that violation. Shot clock reset to 14 seconds.
Good goal by the officials. Ngayon ang ginagawa ng Heatwaves pagdating doon sa screening game, sa ibabaw sila dumadaan, hindi sa ilalim kasi ilang beses na rin sila natitirahan sa labas kaya inaabangan na lang nila yung drive papunta sa pababa sa paint.
Ildefonso, full head of steam! Lays it up and in, plus a foul! My goodness!
Sa aking sariling opinion, I don't think there's anything you can do with Dave going downhill.
Play of the game is brought to you by 747 Live. Dito ka sa legit. Your game, your chance, your thrill. Only with 747 Live.
Full head of steam, pababa. Yung elevate sa paglundag, inabsorb yung contact. Pero parang wala lang nangyari. Basket pa rin para dito kay Dave Ildefonso.
Balik sa 11 ang lamang ng Abra Solid North Weavers. Manuel, pass to Flores. That momentary hesitation costing them that possession.
Yun yung quality of shots na pinag-uusapan natin. Gaano kalinis ba yung nakikita mong pagkakataong makatira ka? And nandun si Raven Gonzalez, hindi ganun kadaling tumira ng ganun kalapit. Alam natin na si Raven, ang average niyan, halos 2 shot blocks yan per game. Eh kung kahit na ikaw si Lervin siguro, magdadalawang isip ka in that situation.
Just the 4th turnover though against Pangasinan. Serrano, the one-hander, doesn't work. Pagsanhan na rebound. Gabo, balik kay Harvey. Approaching the halfway point of the third. Flores this time decisive on what he wanted to do. He nails that baseline jumper.
Yun ang importante doon, yung maging desidido na itira ka agad. Alam mo libre ka, nakaseparate yung bantay mo sa'yo. You know, go and get it.
Brickman whips a pass to Batino. Mintis. Bola nakuha ni Bulanadi. Ahead to Pagsanhan. Balik kay Alin. Bulanadi in traffic. Pinuntahan si Flores. But he and Harvey Pagsanhan weren't on the same page that time.
Well, dalawang bagay dun sa sitwasyon na yun para sa Heatwaves. One, I felt may panira na si Alin Bulanadi that time.
Yeah.
He tried to get a paint touch. Pangalawa, libre si Hesed Gabo dun sa kanan. Hindi nila nakita siya pinakamainit na kamay ngayon sa tres para dito sa Heatwaves.
Under 5 minutes left. Serrano. 3-point shot won't work. Rebound, Vic Manuel.
Vic hasn't gotten involved lately sa opensa nila. He's got to get touches and try to get an attempt. He is the most consistent Heatwave so far in the playoffs.
Here he is. Going right at Gonzalez. A tough challenge as the defense of Abra winning out that time. Brickman skips it to Dave Ildefonso. Catch and shoot 3. Short. Batino offensive rebound. And draws a foul against Lervin Flores.
gaano kahalaga ang isang Batino para dito sa Weavers. Well, one, ang ganda ng pasa na yan ni Jason Brickman sa libreng tres para kay Dave Ildefonso. Pero the moment na nagmintis yung tira na yon ni Dave, who was there to actively get the offensive rebound? Batino.
LGR is the official outfitter of the MPBL.
At saka kagandahan dito kay Batino. Bukod sa tumitira na sa perimeter na nakita natin kanina, magaling din pumasa.
Mosdani Espiritu making the travel here all the way to
yes.
Rosales. By the way, quick shout out lang din kila June Manzo, Patrick Cabahog, who's watching from Leyte.
Oh. Mga idol yan, June Manso, tsaka si Patrick Cabajo.
The Hitman.
Oh, yes.
Mga legends yan from UP and Adamson respectively.
Tsaka yung mga pamatay na floater ni June Manso, no?
Bulanadi settles for a free. Batino the rebound ahead to Ildefonso, lost it. Quick hands from Vic Manuel. Bulanadi almost got away with the travel. Skips it to Hesed Gabo. The extra feed, Manuel. Yung presence ni Raven Gonzalez.
Again, sa pangalawang pagkakataon, pinag-usapan natin kanina. Una, Lervin Flores, nag-alangan. Ngayon naman, Vic Manuel. Ang mabigat doon, Ken, yung isa sa loob ng paint, yung isa sa 3 points. Humapol sa closeout, nag-alangan ka pa.
Natawa si Vic Ang tangkad daw
Hindi, tsaka ano naman talaga, very active naman talaga sa kanyang paa itong si Raven Gonzalez. And there are very few big men that actually have that good combination of speed, foot speed and the length on the floor.
Baka sa palabas, Serrano, lalapit, Mintis, Pangasinan. Numbers here in transition. Melencio in traffic. Kick out pass,
That's the shot.
Manuel for free. Short. And for the most part, Abra really holding itong Pangasinan to just one shot. Halos pareho lang in terms of 3-point makes and percentage. Oh, what a pass! Count it plus a foul. Batino, special delivery papunta kay Raven Gonzalez.
Ilang beses na natin nakikita na si Alfred Batino is talagang magaling pumasa. Ito, shot fake, goes to middle, na kuha niya yung depensa ni Big Manuel pero libre sa kabila si Raven Gonzalez.
Assist of the game is powered by 747 Live. Dito ka sa legit.
Yan, I mean, kung iiwan mo yung bola ng ganong kalapit kay Raven, halos sigurado na eh.
Gio Chu comes in, replacing Ryan Batino. Mike Ayonayon, Raven Gonzalez, and Encho Serrano, their numbers in game number 2.
Actually, nakita mo yung mga numero na yan, pero nangyari yan sa iba't ibang parte nung laro eh. Yun yung, that was in game 2 where, you know, each of those guys scored in bunches in different portions of the game. Just shows you again yung lalim ng bench itong Abra Weavers. Wala pa nga dyan si Marwin na Taiwan na kumuha rin ng 8 puntos yata yun in game number 2.
Here he is for free. A backbreaker as they extend it to their biggest at 16.
How huge has the performance of a Marvin Taiwan been for the Weavers, especially here in the playoffs? I mean, nung nagsisimula pa lang yung season, sabi natin Marvin Taiwan, main point guard, he has to step up his game. And I truly believe in that Nueva Ecija game where he knocked down that three on that right wing against Nueva Ecija. That immediately told me that hey, Marvin Taiwan is for real. He is definitely carrying the load of these Weavers on his shoulders.
Dangerous waters for Pangasinan right now. Abra going for the kill as Gonzalez hits the jumper from the right elbow.
And again, he hit a rolling guy in Raven Gonzalez. He not only has that floater, he also has that elbow jumper. It's pretty good. And that's how smooth this game has been for Raven Gonzalez.
Gixxer fan of the game, born for greatness. 18 na, ang lamang.
Yep.
Ano yung Coach Mike?
Suporta ng Abra Weavers, no? Hanggang dito, patuloy pa rin dito sa Pangasinan. Talagang, wanting to clinch game number 3.
Binabati namin yung mga nanonood sa atin live on our official YouTube channel. 30K and counting para sa laban ng Pangasinan at Abra. Jory Napoles, who is celebrating his 33rd birthday today with a hook shot, cuts it down to 16, 67-51.
I'm sure Jory's wish for his birthday is to be able to extend this series to a game number 4 and come back here in Pangasinan. But with the way things have been, it's gonna take a monster effort from the Heatwaves because it's all guns blazing for the Weavers right now.
Ildefonso, his first free of the game. And now he is up to 16 points. More importantly, 19 na ang lamang dito ng Abra. Napoles can't answer. Fight for the rebound. It ends up with Abra.
Tsaka sobrang kumpiyansa ni Dave Ildefonso. This might be his best shooting game so far in the entire playoffs. He's shooting 50% on a 5 of 10 field goal makes. And he really has been on the tear in game number 3.
Chu missing point blank. Napoles sizing up Raven Gonzalez. Up fake. Pass to Mabulak. Over Raven Gonzalez. Can't hit the jumper. Again, it's been mostly one shot. Only 2 offensive rebounds in total for the Pangasinan Heatwaves.
Napakadaling sabihin na humanap ka ng quality shots for the Heatwaves. Pero kung kaharap mo si Chu, Raven Gonzalez, sama mo pa si Dave Ildefonso sa loob ng paint, hindi ganun talaga kadali.
Gonzalez gets that one to trickle in. He's up to 11 points. Galanza, runner, blocked by Gonzalez. Third quarter comes so close. And Abra just putting on a clinic here in the third period. Kung JB's Bernos can sense it. Highlights of the game brought to you by Sip Plus, the official hydration partner of the MPBL. Elevate your hydration.
Well, this quarter really started with a 5-0 run by the Heatwaves, but when everything settled down for the Weavers, Dave Ildefonso goes on that rim run and that dunk, and guys like Jason Brickman, Marvin Taiwan hitting their shots from the outside and really helping spread open that middle lane of the floor. And Raven Gonzalez, let's not forget, also got in the act.
Total of 13 points for Raven Gonzalez. 10 more minutes to save their season para sa Pangasinan. Abra is ahead 72-51 at the end of the third. Fan of the game is brought to you by LGR, the official outfitter of the MPBL.
Well, Ken, pag tinignan mo yung ating dalawang quarters ng first at saka ng third, very similar yung shot selection.
Oh, binabati namin yung 35K viewers watching us on the official MPBL YouTube channel. Sama na rin natin, kabilang dyan, June Manzo, Patrick Cabahug. Also, shoutout din kay Sir J. De La Cruz and Erwin Awiden watching this game.
Now, even my cousins in Masbate, who, Ate Mads, Kuya Manix, who celebrated his birthday, and to see the quarter scoring right there. I was actually alluding to the 25 and 29 point output of the Abra Weavers in the first and the third quarter, respectively. The common thing about those two quarters were perimeter makes. Doon, nagkakaiba yung dalawang quarters na yun. Napakarami nakita nating floaters, elbow jumpers, galing kay Raven Gonzalez, kay Batino, as Marvin Taiwan continues to break down solo without any ball screens, the defensive coverage of the Heatwaves.
Lead has ballooned to 23 points. Mabulak whistled for an offensive foul.
And when you look at game number 2, where Mayo in Taiwan did a heck of a job closing out that quarter in the fourth for the Weavers, you have to remember, game number 2, 0 points. See Jason Brickman, the very first 0-point game of Jason postseason. And comes that 8-point output galing dito kay Marvin Taiwan. And again, he was breaking down defenses, solo coverage, didn't need any help from anyone. He just kept on attacking downhill.
Mike Ayon Nayon, kasama si Raven Gonzalez, David Defonso, Jeo Chu, and Marvin Taiwan. Ildefonso, the baseline jumper. And Coach Jerson Cabiltes has called his final timeout in the hopes of trying to salvage their season.
7 of 12, the best shooting game in the playoffs so far for David Defonso, and that slump is gone.
Abra with a 25-point lead, 76-51. How about David Defonso? First straight double-double in this series, 18 and 12 tonight here in Rosales.
Well, I think the thing that's magical about that 18 points is the shooting percentage. He was 25 and 29% shooting in those couple of games, game 1 and game number 2. But right now, he's 7 of 12, which is pretty big.
And what a performance in a potential closeout game here. Game number 3. And with that slam dunk in the third, Ildefonso has electrified this crowd in Rosales. Let's go courtside to Mika Bisamis.
David Defonso talked about how his numbers were shaken in the series, felt his shooting took a dip in form a bit. Like I mentioned earlier, one guy responsible for this is obviously Mike DG, who's had years of experience going against guys like Jason Castro, Stanley Pringle, Paul Lee, Terence Romeo. Not to dim Dave's light, but he was just really everywhere. He put all the experience inside one cup and poured it out on Dave. But Dave said, this is a chance for me to focus on the saying, it's you versus you, to get his numbers back up. And hey, here he is, Ken Coach Mike.
And responding in a resounding way tonight. Maraming salamat, Mika. David Defonso, like you said, his best shooting performance of the playoffs.
Yeah. And you have to give Mike De Gregorio his flowers in terms of, how he defended against Dave. Hindi ganun kadali na dumepensa against Dave, but to make it difficult for him to get a really good and even just a decent field goal make in game number 1 and game number 2, he sure has played the angles, played the spots. Ang naunahan niya, pinahirapan niya. Pero sabi nga ng report ni Mika is, it's you versus you. At the end of the day, you look yourself in the mirror and you say, I gotta do better than the way I did the previous day.
May foul na tinawag laban sa Abra. Coach Young's players on the floor pleading for a challenge, but totally, in the end, overruling them.
lima yung nag-request pero na-turn down lahat yung 5. No?
Kala ko burger na re-request. Naka letter C pero
Letter
medyo
C.
nakayupi.
Medyo maliit yung no?
May batiin muna natin isa sa ating mga table officials ng maligayang kaarawan. Walang iba kundi si Mr. Oliver Paterno.
Uy! Happy birthday, Oliver!
Saka nanonood din ang ating FD, si Mark Israel. Kuya Mark.
Kuya Mark, how are you?
76-53.
It's always good to have Kuya Mark also join us in the games from time to time.
Oo naman.
Oh, man.
Marvin Taiwan, this time from the right corner pocket. 26-point advantage for Abra. And just the way they methodically broke down itong Pangasinan Heat Waves, Coach Mike. Although they're still trying to chip away at the lead here. Talking about itong Heat Waves, JP Maguliano with a potential 3-point play coming up.
Oh, no, good move right there Pero yun nga, yung pagkaka-pick up ni JP Maguliano, papalik tayo sa paulit-ulit na pinag-uusapan natin. Pag nasa loob ka na ng paint at kalaban mo ang Weavers, napakarami mong kailangan alalahanin dahil shot blocking has been one of their primary weapons defensively this season.
Still a lot of time though. 23-point lead. Under 8 minutes to go in the fourth. Gonzalez fouled by Jay Collado.
Gusto mo rin talaga yung nagiging mobility nito ni Raven Gonzalez. He's not your typical post-up guy. He just continues to run the rim and then close out long. Katulad kanina nung titira na si Vic Manuel, na challenge pa rin niya.
Kung sa kagandahan kay Raven, he really shines in his role.
Just silent, no? Very silent in how he operates.
I mean, imagine, never took a three-point shot for the entire season. A shot that I'm sure he has been working on, but he's still sticking to what he does best.
Well, ako nagugustuhan ko kay Raven. When you look at his numbers the entire playoffs, he's shooting 63% for a big man, and that is very impressive. The only time he never made a basket was, I think, game number 3 of that Caloocan game. But other than that, he's just been too good from the perimeter.
The lob, Taiwan, setting it up beautifully. Patungo kay Jeo Chu.
Now, one might say that Jay Chu, when he started out for the Weavers, was trying to figure out his spot on the floor, lalo na with Raven being, pretty much securing that big guy spot. But he has eased in pretty well to that big man role for the Weavers. And I like his maturity, lalo na if you remember that game against Caloocan na talagang pinipisikal siya, he was really at it and trying to compete against the veteran and physical big men of Caloocan.
Ildefonso lines it up off to the left. Offensive rebound by Raven Gonzalez.
One more.
Dave, intis pa din. Gonzalez with a throwdown! Coach JB, Kong JB approves. Kong JB Bernos letting out a little bit of a smile dahil lamang pa rin ng 25 puntos ang Abra. And they come away with a steal, but Bulanadi with a counter steal of his own. Collado Mintes, Maguliano sa loob. Another 3-point play opportunity coming up for JP.
Well, still the Heat Waves giving it all that they have right now in the final 6 minutes of this game number 3. And you see JP going to the left with that finish against Raven Gonzalez. I'm trying to outsmart him. Pero yung last play natin kanina na slam dunk ni Raven Gonzalez, that pretty much shows you kung gaano ka-controlled at dominated nitong Weavers ang paint pagdating sa offensive rebound.
84-61. Under 6 minutes left. Taiwan. Oh man. Marvin Taiwan. Those back-breaking threes have been a killer. Foul still against Abra as Collado made his drive. What a second half for the Abra Solid North Weavers.
Oh, yeah.
Just when you thought Pangasinan was knocking on the door early in the third, they have put the lights out here in Rosales. 87-61, approaching the 5-minute mark of the fourth.
This is what you love about Marvin. He's just very calculated. He's not rushing into things. He's trying to see where the other options are. If he doesn't like it, then he pulls it out and then gives it to his teammates for them to have their own look. And that's why you really have to be recognizing yung effort nito ni Marvin Taiwan. As another made basket from the outside here for the Heatwaves. Time really not on their side. And so far, everything clicking for the Weavers here. And what potentially could be the final game of the North Finals.
Taiwan will milk some clock here. Working on Gortiza. Rebound Bulanadi off that Taiwan miss. Gortiza positioning himself down low. Foul will be whistled against Marvin Taiwan. And Abra is in penalty. But let's check out again this Gixer, great move of the game. Born for greatness.
A couple of bigs connecting right there. Offensive rebound for GOTU, but how about that vision to find quickly si Raven Gonzalez and just the right way to finish that kind of possession. That slam by Raven.
Pasok yung unang free throw ni King Gortiza. Ngayong second half lang, pinasok ni Coach Gerson. Ito si King. 5 straight points. They pulled to within 21. 4 and 20 left. Oh, what a pass. But Mike unable to keep himself inbounds. And now we have our fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme X Play. On-the-go speaker, take your music anywhere.
Showing a lot of athleticism that time. JHU, a few times we've seen him go on an alley-hoop on a downhill action.
Maguliano supply. Abra slowing things down, going through the motions. Gonzalez. Papunta kay Ildefonso. Dave lobs it up. Gonzalez clearing space, and he will score.
I'll chalk up another assist for Dave Ildefonso. He's not scoring, he's assisting.
Layup ni Coliano, pero they need some stops. Pangasinan. And quickly at that. Time slowly ticking away as Galanza gives up the foul. And I think Coach Gerson, pinasok na dito si Japs Bautista. While for Abra, Jorel Gonzalez, Redel Fabro, and Wilkin Lee now in.
Kahit na yung mga homegrown, mabibigat din para dito sa Weavers. Of course, Wilkin Lee, alam naman natin yung touch niyan from the outside. And Redel Fabro, he's not gonna be short of any effort, be it on the offense or the defense.
Approaching the 3-minute mark of the third. Taiwan comes away with a steal, puts on the Jets. And that might be just the icing on the cake. What a performance here by the Abra Solid North Weavers, Coach Mike.
Yeah, just completely, giving it to the Heatwaves here in the second half. 29 in the third quarter, and really just kept pouring it on. Never really relaxing. And parang nararamdaman mo nga, halos hindi na tumitingin sa scoreboard, execute na lang ng execute. And they've never gotten into, kumbaga, relax mode all throughout this game.
Wilkin Lee hits a free.
There will be game situations where I feel Coach Yong Garcia, if they need a 3 in a very close game, and he needs shooters from the outside, I will not be surprised if Wilkin Lee is one of those guys that he calls out from the bench.
Japs Bautista got fouled while taking the free. What a journey it's been for this franchise. Itong Abra Solid North Weavers, Coach Mike, joined the league last season.
Yes.
And had a bit of a roller coaster elimination round. Itong free throw nito, by the way, is brought to you by Extreme Appliances, ang subok at kompletong appliance brand ng Pilipinas. Na up and down sila, no? But manage to sneak in at that 7th spot. But ang nakalaban nila in the first round was the 2-time defending.
Yes.
Well, that time,
the defending champions, the Pampanga Giant Lanterns. They got swept, but that was a pretty much competitive series, Coach Mike. And then retooled in the big
Yeah.
way in the offseason. Got Dave, Encho Serrano coming to the fore para dito sa Abra. And after losing that game against the Pasay Voyagers way back in March, they have not lost since. Wilkin Lee with his second free. And now, grabe, 33 straight wins
Yes.
en route to historic national finals appearance.
And I feel ang ano dyan, ang magandang ginawa rin nila is that they acknowledge their effort and the outcome of the very first season last year. They started building from it, and Coach Yong has really, guided the ship into where it is right now, pulling in players that was very key in their rotation. They brought in Jason Brickman, played a game in Paco Arena in one of the regular season games. He never came back in the regular season, and then
One game
once
lang.
that Caloocan season playoffs began, that's when they got Jason Brickman back. And so when Jason left, the big question was who is going to be the key point guard of the Weavers outside of Marvin Taiwan. And I guess, the answers have really been evident here in the postseason that Marvin Taiwan was going to be fine working alongside Jason Brickman. And Jason Brickman was really a guy that, really just wanted to mesh alongside the guys of the Weavers.
They reviewed that last out-of-bounds play. At mukhang last touch si Jay Collado.
Daming
And
kamay
then,
na tumapik.
siguro Pisa pala.
Yan ako sa Cortiza.
And I think the underrated aspect, Coach Mike, of how Abra did it is that ang daming bagong players din that became part of the equation, and yet you never felt like the chemistry got off.
Yes. Yun ang impressive actually. I mean, hindi ganun kadali na humawa ka ng isang team na halos lahat ng players de calibre. This is a good mix of veterans and young players. At start of the season, parang karamihan mga batang mga players ang hawak nila. They almost look like a collegiate team. But then when guys like Mike Ayanayon and Jason Brickman started joining in, talagang mas lalo nag-iba. Jolo Mendoza even coming in. Talaga nakita mo yung malaking difference at naging development at progress nitong Abra Weavers.
And a foul given up by Chiyo Chu. This is the fast break of the game brought to you by Extreme Cool Air Conditioners. Ang Extreme magpalamig. Free installation for split-type air conditioners.
I'm sure hindi lang si David Defonso matagal-tagal na inasam yung pagkakataon na yan. Even his fans from the Abra Weavers have waited for that moment when they see DI on a slam finish and with that celly of the raise the roof.
What about tong Pangasinan Heatwaves? Coach Jerson Cabiltes under scrutiny ever since last year. Sabay silang sumali ng Abra last season. Disappointing finish for Coach Jerson. Not even making it to the playoffs in his first year with the Heatwaves. Came back the following year, this year. And despite having a lot of talented players at his disposal, they had to go for the play-in. And the odds were really stacked against them for the entire postseason, and yet they made it all the way here to the North Division Finals.
One thing that it's really painful in the playoffs is to see really good teams that have stretched themselves in the regular season, got past challenges in the playoffs, only to lose an elimination game. And, the Heat Waves, they get their flowers, they've done well, and I'm sure they're going to build moving forward with this start here in this season.
A job well done for the Abra Solid North Weavers.
Indeed.
We have the new kings of the North this season as Abra sweeps
Pangasinan here in Rosales, their very first appearance in the MPBL National Finals.
And more importantly, it's a 33-game winning streak, and they have not lost since that game against Pasay. They have not lost in the playoffs so far. And whoever comes out in the south between Binyan and Quezon, you know, they will really recognize that they're up for a very competitive team and a dominant at that in the Abra Weavers.
Our best player of the game is powered by 747 Live. We have Dave Ildefonso. What a performance tonight against Pangasinan in game number 3.
Breakout game in the playoffs. 7 of 15, 46% shooting. He was 6 of 7 from the perimeter. He had 14 rebounds, a couple of assists, a couple of steals, and a couple of blocks.
Best player of the game is powered by 747 Live. Play what you love, win what you deserve. Kong JB Bernos, they are 3 wins away from the last dance. As the players have put up Coach Yong Garcia, well-deserved. He's been pulling the strings from really behind the scenes. Because the way that he has adjusted time and time again in this series has been a sight to behold para dito sa Abra. They win against Pangasinan in game number 3, 99-74. And they are the first team to advance in the 2025 MPBL National Finals.
Yep, and you know, lahat ng naging games na itong Abra Weavers, that was a big wake-up call for them. Waking up against that lone loss in Pasay, and the other guys that came in, you know, Chu, Ayon, Joel Mendoza, these guys have really embraced the notion that believing that this season is the season that they get into the national finals.
Let's go courtside to Miss Mika Abisamis.
Maraming salamat, Dave. First of all, congratulations. We talked about your shots all series long, no? But you said this was a chance for you to do you versus you, and here you are with a double-double.
Una sa lahat, syempre gusto ko lang pasalamatan yung si God, syempre, kasi without him, you know, I'm nothing. Pero most importantly, syempre, gusto ko lang bigyan ng props yung Pangasinan Heatwaves. Grabe sila. You know, grabe yung Cinderella run nila all season long. Kasi wala naman 7th, tapos they beat 3rd, 2nd. Pero yun nga, they had to face us. Pero yun, kudos sa kanila, yung coaching staff nila, all their players, you know, nahirapan talaga ako. So, yun nga, you said na yung shooting ko medyo masama, pero hanggang ngayon pa rin naman, masama pa rin. Pero at least medyo mas marami ako na make. And yun nga, ganda lang talaga ng adjustment namin. Yung mga coaches namin, sila Coach Yong, Coach Denok, sila Coach Don. You know, they really did their job and they helped us prepare for this game.
Pero tingin ko tama ka kasi nakita ko si tatay kanina medyo nakangiti. Medyo lang. So siguro naman nasayahan na siya sa shots mo.
Hindi, siguro dun sa race na ko ata napangiti eh. Sabi niya, bakit parang hindi ata, bakit yung dunk eh? Parang sabi niya sa akin. Pero yun nga, I'm just happy na maganda yung laro ko in front of Pangasinan and then in front of kay tatay din kasi you know, I've been asking him for advice kasi I've been struggling and lagi siya nandyan para sa akin para magbigay ng advice.
But you know what, Dave? Everybody showed what they can do dito sa series na to. No? What do you want to tell your teammates? Very important.
Siyempre, celebrate now pero you know, lock in talaga kasi this isn't our goal eh. You know, our goal is to win and we're not at the finish line yet. So, yun nga, sabi sa amin na just enjoy this win and then lock in the next few days.
Dave, ikaw ang pinakaunang North champion na makikita kong papasok sa National Finals na nakuna na sapatos. Anong kwento niya? Nakita ko kinuha ni Alin Bulanadi.
Si Alin kasi nakasama ko siya nung Gilas 2020, sila Coach Tabata yun. So nilapitan niya lang ako. Sabi, hinihingi yung sapatos ko. Sabi ko, okay. Sabi ko, magka-size pala kami. So sabi ko, marami naman ako noon. Tsaka blessed naman ako ni Lord na nabibigyan ako ng Nike. So yun nga, nabigay ko lang talaga kay Alin.
Maraming salamat and congratulations, Dave Ildefonso. This best player of the game is powered by 747 Live. Play what you love, win what you deserve. Kong JB, you are one trophy away, no, from your dream. Ano po ang pakiramdam nyo ngayon?
Una-una, nagpapasalamat ako na nasa taas for giving us the North Division Championship. Of course, sobrang tuwa. It was just a dream. It was just a dream for us, mga tiga-Abra. Pero ito, andito na. We are 3 wins away from the national championship. So, after this, konting celebration and then we'll go back to work.
Kong JB, throughout this whole season and even in the playoffs, no, yung mga Abreño nandyan palagi. Kung hindi man sila nanonood sa TV, sumasama sila sa inyo. Meron kayong 100 na Abreño kasama dito ngayon. Ano po ang gusto niyo sabihin sa kanilang lahat?
Thank you, Abra. Ang dami nila dito. Maraming salamat sa suporta all season long. It has been 2 seasons. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Walang bibitiw dito. We'll try to get the championship. We'll try to bring home to Abra the MPBL championship.
Maraming salamat, Kong. Huli na po. Entering the national finals, what do you want to tell Coach Yong Garcia and the rest of the players of the Abra Solid North Weavers?
Trabaho lang. Yun na yun. Bahala na si Coach Yong. I guess I am the one of the luckiest among the team owners. May coach ako na maayos, coaching staff na maayos. Maraming salamat. Basta they'll go back to work. Alam na nila yung gagawin nila.
Maraming salamat and congratulations once again to the proud team owner of the Abra North Weavers, Kong JB Bernos. Ken and Coach Mike.
Maraming salamat, Mika. What an incredible run. And I'm sure Kong JB Bernos is pretty much ecstatic in what they have achieved this season para dito sa Abra Solid North Weavers.
At saka nararamdaman mo yung patuloy na drive nila, understanding that, job's not finished, ika nga. So, celebrate tayo ngayon, pero message rin ni Kong JB is that trabaho ulit, balik ulit. And I like that he thanked that he's one of those owners that have a really good coaching staff and very dedicated players as well. And true enough, the Weavers have earned their spot here this season as North Division champions.
And also Kong Ching Bernos making the travel here to Rosales. And here we go! Signed, sealed, and delivered. The 2025 MPBL North Division champions, the Abra Solid North Weavers, sweeping the Pangasinan Heat Waves. And what a feat for Abra and the rest of the Weavers here, Coach Mike.
Dominance has always been attributed and connected to the word Abra Weavers, and rightfully so. They are right now the North Division champions, and you can't put it any other way because these guys have worked for this moment tonight for the Weavers.
Getting past Ilagan Isabela in the first round and then holding off the Caloocan Batang Kangkalu, and here conquering the Pangasinan Heat Waves. And well, Commissioner Kenneth Duremdes has the trophy to award our brand new Kings of the North.
Ito na yung pagkakataong inaantay mo, yung puyat, pagkatapos ng laro, uwi, the travel going to Abra, and to be 3 games away from the national championships. But right now, they're gonna celebrate this North Division title for the Abra Weavers.
One of the most dominant runs we've seen throughout our 7 seasons in the Maharlika Pilipinas Basketball League, as Kong JB Bernos raising the trophy for the 2025 MPBL North Division champs, the Abra Solid North Weavers.
And Coach Yong definitely, and the rest of the coaching staff, that includes Coach Denok, Coach Jerry De Leon, and a few among other coaches that have really molded these guys, not just from the X's and O's, but even, I guess, conditioning, mental preparation. The togetherness is definitely something that you see in the Abra Weavers. And if you ask me, they definitely have that ingredient to be a very special team in the MPBL.
They are already a very special team. Best regular season record and still holding the longest winning streak ever in the MPBL with 33 consecutive wins. As they are the first to advance in the MPBL National Finals, winning 3-0 against the Pangasinan Heatwaves, and they will await the winner of this very intriguing series between Quezon and Binyan.
And all eyes now will be on the South Division Finals between Quezon and Binyan. That series is tied. All the more that it takes them more games to try and figure out, all the more it's favorable, in my opinion, for the North Division champs to get more preparation and get some level of rest.
And man, whoever comes out in the South, it's gonna be a really fun series in the finals. But on Monday, we will go to the Alonte Sports Arena in Binyan to continue game number 3 of this best of 5 series between the number 1 seed, the Quezon Huskers, and number 6 seed, Binyan Tatak Gel. Series is start at 1 apiece, 6:30 p.m. po. Magsisimula ang laban na yan. And that should be a fun one between these two squads trying to join Abra in the MPBL National Finals. David Defonso, what a marvelous season he's had. Coach Yong Garcia, not much fanfare, but getting the job done para dito sa Abra. And that does it for our coverage for the MPBL North Division Finals. On behalf of Coach Mike Perez and Mika Besamis and our entire crew, ako po si Ken Pangalinan. Maraming salamat sa pagtangkilik at pagsubaybay sa MPBL, ang liga ng bawat Pilipino.